If you are a realtor in the 5 boroughs, I'm very confident that you've heard of the CityFHEPS program. Now, I'm very excited to create this video. Now, this video took me a couple of weeks to create and organize, but I always get calls from other realtors on how to complete a step-by-step process or complete the application of CityFHEPS. Is super, it could be super confusing. So I'm very excited to create this video. I did do some research on YouTube just to see if there was any tutorials at all regarding CityFHEPS, and nothing. So I'm hyped to be the first realtor in the 5 boroughs to walk you through my step-by-step process and how I complete this system. And I find this program to be very beneficial, and a great arsenal into having a constant supplement of income when you're selling houses or representing a buyer's agent, when a typical sale of a home in New York takes about 2 months. So yes, you could be busy, selling houses back to back, which is great. I am a listing agent first. I always sell houses. That's my number one priority. However, I love to do CityFHEPS to supplement my income more frequently. So I tend to do 3 to 4 a month, to make sure that I'm getting a constant flow and I'm not depending on, one source of income. So let's get to it. Let's get started. All right. So I have 5 steps, and this is really targeting the realtors and guiding them. If you have any questions, please feel free to, add it into the comments. Anything I miss, or anything you want to add, we're all here to help each other. So that's my goal. All right. So there's 5 steps that I focus on. Number 1, educating the landlord. Number 2, preparing the landlord's packet. And I have everything here in this video. So I'm going to condense everything, or put everything in this video the best I can. And then we're going to focus on how to complete pre-clearance, how to pass or get a pass or approval on inspection, and then the fun part, the last part, collecting your check and how to calculate how much they pay. All right, so let's talk about, before we even start, let's talk about CityFHEPS, and let's talk about why is this program being incentivized. New York is expensive. A lot of New Yorkers are struggling with rent. Rent is up through the roof. And this program is pretty much protecting New Yorkers from not going into shelters, because rent could be very, very high, and it's continuing to go high. So it's not for everyone, as far as it breaks down into different categories, right? And so they have a category of working class people that just need that supplement, and they do provide that. And it goes to the other extreme of people who are in the shelter that don't have a place to go, and the city will incentivize a landlord to bring them in to pay them the rent as well. All right, so that's pretty much it. It's really a low income, incentive, and yeah, it's very helpful. All right, so let's focus on the landlord's packet. All right, the landlord's packet is very important. You want to make sure you do this correctly. If you don't do it correctly, they're going to send it back. So the first document that you need is a fully signed lease from the tenant and also from the landlord. All right, and you need a completed signed landlord packet. Now, the packet could be found in the CityFHEPS website, and so it consists about, I want to say, 7 to 8 documents, It's really redundant. It's the same type of questions or information that they need. The name of the landlord, where the checks are going, um, who's the tenant. It's very redundant. So what I do is I pre-fill out the packet for them. I fill everything out for them, and then I will have them sign all the all the pages, have them review, make sure everything's good, so that way it's not overwhelming on the landlord side. It takes a little bit of work. Now, if you have an assistant or an ISA that could do it for you, that'll be less time in your hands to get it done. But I do recommend, you know, realtors, doing it for them, because it shows that you're taking that extra step, which is very good. Now you need to show, in part of this packet, you need to show your broker or your salesperson license, your real estate salesperson license. It has to be a paper license, and I have an example in this slide, in the future slides, and also a landlord's title or deed. So this whole package should be in one attachment, PDF attachment, and you're gonna send this to the caseworker of the potential tenant. You want to make sure everything is completed, everything is correct with addresses and so forth. So it could be as organized as possible. Now, that's the packet. So not every landlord is familiar with CityFHEPS. As a realtor, I want to make sure I educate my landlord on the incentives or benefits regarding CityFHEPS. Now, CityFHEPS has a few incentives. One of them is that they provide for the landlord 3 months of front of rent. Now, when it's approved, so it usually takes about a month or so. Now, another incentive that I love the most is they will pay the landlord 1 month to hold the apartment while they complete their paperwork or their process, which I love the most. So that adds some sense of security, which is really nice. Now, the third benefit that CityFHEP provides is 1 month security deposit on the back end. So you won't get this security deposit initially. However, if there's any future repairs, or if there's an issue that needs to be met, that needs that security deposit, they will send that security deposit to you in about 1 or 2 weeks, which is very nice. Now you have to either call the caseworker or the main office to request that. So that is very helpful. Pre-clearance is very important. You want to submit the pre-clearance along with the packet. What is pre-clearance? Pre-clearance is uh, a way that CityFHEPS verifies if the landlord is the actual owner, or if the landlord has a legal multifamily dwelling. Now, it takes about 2 or 3 days for you to get an approval or a denial. Make sure that you do it correctly. I could possibly do another video, um, how to complete a pre-clearance. I won't have time in this video to go over that. However, I will be placing the link in the description, and please save that. It's very helpful to have that saved on your computer, ready to go. It's really hard to find it on the website, so please take it and use it. It's very helpful. Once you submit the application pre-clearance, they're going to give you a reference letter. You're going to while you're submitting the application, you're going to give the caseworker the reference number or letter along with the application, and you're going to wait 2 or 3 days for it to be approved. Once it's approved, you're going to send that PDF form of approval to the caseworker. All right, so that's super important. I'll definitely do a video later on how to do it step by step. Okay, realtors, so now you completed the landlord's packet. You received an approval on your pre-clearance. Now the next step is to schedule an inspection. Now there's two types of inspections. There's an in-person inspection where the caseworker actually physically goes to the apartment and inspects everything. Now, and there's another inspection where it's a virtual inspection where it's conducted, via FaceTime or Zoom, and you are pretty much guided by the caseworker to complete the inspection. All right, let's go back to the in-person inspection and what to look out for. Based off my experience, you want to make sure that the windows open and close and they remain open. That's one thing that caused, based off my experience, a pass or fail. And the next one, from my remembrance, is the temperature of the water. Now, the temperature of the water has to be 120 degrees. If it's less than that, they're not going to pass you. Same thing with the refrigerator and freezers. The freezer has to be below 20, and the refrigerator has to be 30 degrees or less. So please keep that in mind. Okay, with virtual inspection, it's pretty much the same. Now you have to either have the equipment, the tools, or they will provide you, the CityFHEPS caseworker will provide you the tools. Now I have the tools, some of the tools here with me. One of the tools that you need for the inspection, for a virtual inspection, is an outlet tester. And this will test, you're going to check out all the outlets to see if they're working properly. Any faulty ones, they're going to have you fix them, or have the landlord fix them. So they won't pass it right away, but they'll give you another chance to have that repaired, and it has to be by a certain time frame. All right. Some programs do measure the door, so you definitely need a measuring tape. This is what I use. They measure the width of the door and also the length as well, just to see if it's a standard door for each room, and also the entrance as well. So this is important. And then the last equipment is a thermometer reader with a laser pointer. Okay, and this is going to you're going to use this for the sink, bathroom sink, and then also the kitchen sink to test the temperatures. Again, you want the water to be, they're going to check to see how hot it is, so you want it to be the most 120. Anything below that, they're not going to pass you. They will use this for refrigerator and the freezer as well. So this is what you need for the in-person inspection. Hope this is helpful. Now let's talk about the fun part. How does the realtor gets paid, and also the landlord? Now, CityFHEPS has a great incentive for brokers and realtors. They pay 15% of the year. Let me say it again, 15% of the year. Now we will go over the calculations on the next slide, but in order to understand how much you get paid, it depends on the size of the apartment based off the rooms. So let's quickly go over how CityFHEPS breaks down or pays the landlord, so that way you have an understanding of how you get paid as a realtor. Okay, so everything is based off of family size, right? So a minimum of one person, maximum of a two-person will be qualified for a one bedroom, and For all utilities included, one bedroom apartment, they will CityFHEPS will be paying $2,696. Now this was effective January 2024. So every year this goes up. So this is great for landlords. Now let's skip through no utilities included, and it will be at a lower amount, and it will be 2,484. All right, so for a 2-bedroom, minimum 3 people, maximum 4 family in a household, you're qualified for a 2-bedroom, and you can get 3,027 for all utilities included, and $2,762. Now, these are above market rents in New York for sure. Well, in certain parts of New York. I mean, Manhattan's very inflated with their rents, but my market is usually in the Bronx, and this is definitely above market in the Bronx. So yeah, definitely use this chart as a reference guide for yourself. This chart is also on their website, so you can have an idea how to calculate your broker's fee, which is again 15% of the year. Okay, so let's go on the next page. Now, again, they pay I'm gonna keep repeating it. They pay 15% a year. What does that mean? So the way you calculate for, they say, for example, a 3-bedroom, that's 3,777. You're gonna times that by 12. All right, and that's gonna get you 45,324. You're gonna times that 15%. So you're gonna put 0.15, and right here you get $6,798, which is amazing. I think for a rental, that's premium. That's a premium commission check. I know in other states, this is literally a sale commission for a house. A sale commission, and you're getting that from a rental, which is amazing. This is why I said I usually do 3 or 4 of these a month. So times this by 3 or 4 on top of me selling my houses. It's a great income. I love it. And it kills me when I hear, real estate agents or brokers that say, I don't do rentals. You're leaving so much money on the table. It's crazy. Now let's focus on one more, a 4-bedroom. Now with a 4-bedroom, the rent goes, and I'm doing this off of all utilities included, right? At the top, just the top number, all right? For a 4-bedroom, you get 4,070. You times that by 12, same thing. It's 4,800. I'm sorry, 48,840. All right, and you times that by 15, and look at that. Whew. Look at that. 7,326. Again, have you ever heard of that with rentals? Absolutely not. It's crazy. Again, you times this by 3 or 4. I mean, it's great money. So definitely look into CityFHEPS. I also have a play, which I'm not going to discuss here, but you want to focus on making sure that you double end the deal. All right, I'm all for working with broker, co-broking. I'm all for it. But if you can manage on securing the landlord and the tenant and bringing them together and maximizing your commission, that is the goal. All right, especially if you learn from this video and you take it step by step on this process, it'll become second nature. And trust me, if I could do it, you could do it as well. All right, I hope this part is helpful. So I'm going to quickly go over what the packet looks like, so that way you have an idea on how to fill it out, what to expect, what does these documents mean, so that way you have a better understanding. I usually pre-fill this packet out for the landlord, and then I have the landlord review and sign through a DigiSign or electronical signature, so that way things are done faster instead of just kind of waiting for the landlord to get this done, because it's a lot of paperwork. It is a lot of paperwork. It does take some effort and some work. So that is my system, and it always works for me. Again, I'm repeating, if you have an ISA or if you have an assistant that could do this for you, I mean, you're going to save tons of time for sure. I mean, this is the part where it's very time consuming, but if you have a great system, which I have, that it won't be as time consuming or painstaking. All right. So this first document is very simple. It's the general contact information, where you have to fill out the tenant's information, landlord's information. I always put my information just to make sure, I have a point of contact, and also the shelter as well. If you have that if you have that information. If you don't, it's okay. All right. Let's go to. Okay, so this form is the CityFHEPS landlord information form, and it's pretty much saying that CityFHEPS and HRA pays the rent. It's going to be cutting the check out to the landlord. What is HRA? HRA is the Human Resources Administration. So CityFHEPS and HRA work hand in hand. So this is the landlord's information form. This is one of the most important forms because this determines where the checks are going to be sent out to the landlord, and also if they're going to agree to the 3 months upfront supplement. So this has to be done correctly. Make sure that the address is correct in the right place. I have some landlords that live in other states, and CityFHEPS also sends out the checks in other states. It doesn't have to be in New York. So make sure this is done correctly. So this is the landlord's requirements. Pretty much, this is the rules and regulation, and just saying that you, as the landlord, are going to follow all the rules. You could take time to read it. Again, all these documents are on the CityFHEPS website. So this document is the landlord's utility information. So as you can see, every house is different. Everyone has a different utility setup, whether it's gas, electric, oil. So you want to make sure that you check off on the right source of utilities or fuel, and who is responsible for it. Is it the landlord or is it the tenant? So usually in New York, the landlord is responsible for heat and hot water, and the tenant is responsible for the gas and the electric. And sometimes the landlord will take on all the utilities. So again, it depends on the landlord and what he feels comfortable with. So make sure, again, this is done correctly, because this does affect the payout for the landlord. So this document is the unit hold incentive voucher. As I stated earlier, the landlord has an incentive to receive 1 month to hold the apartment while CityFHEPS and HRA approve the packet. So this has to be done, again, it has to be done correctly. Name, address, city, make sure everything is done. The amount of rent, if there's a mistake, they're going to kick it back, and we don't want to lose any money. So the landlord has to complete a W-9 along with the landlord's packet. Now the W-9 is pretty much stating that they have to report all their earnings to Uncle Sam. Now, some landlords have an LLC that is tied up to their property. So if you do, make sure that you write down the EIN number, or if you're a sole proprietor, all you need is your social security with your signature. So this is an important document as well. Make sure it's done correctly. So this is the broker's request form, and this is how we as real estate agents get paid. So number one, you want to make sure that the math is done correctly, so that way you get the right amount of commission. Now, if you get it wrong or you make a mistake, it's no biggie. The caseworker will ask you to resubmit another form. But if you have any trouble, you can always refer back to this video in the middle of the video to just kind of go over the math and the breakdown. So this is an important form. I hope you found this video very helpful. I mean, when I first started, I didn't know anything about CityFHEPS. I didn't know how to do this. I had to go through a lot of trials and errors, and I just wanted to make a video to just be a help for any of those new agents or any broker or realtor that's looking into, CityFHEPS or any programs that just been very overwhelmed or intimidated by the paperwork. So hopefully this helps. Definitely like and subscribe to my videos. Um, we have more to come. I will be doing another video on pre-clearance step by step on how to complete that. So stay tuned. Thank you again. Enjoy.